Freshman College Hacks Workshop. My name is Angel and I studied Human Development and Education, and my friends here are all UC Davis Class of 2020 graduates.
Hi, my name is Martina and I'm studying Civil Engineering.
Hi, my name is Carl and I also studied Civil Engineering.
Hi, I'm Jonah and I studied Communications.
Hey, how about before we start, we all share a perfect meme or GIF that best describes what we were like our freshman year?
Yeah, sure. As a freshman, I really wanted to experience everything. I joined too many clubs and I was super overwhelmed, just like this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I really relate to this one because I took it really slow my freshman year. I didn't take a full load. I just took part-time and yeah, I was just kind of chilling.
For me, I relate to this one because I was always spontaneous but very undisciplined. So I was late to many things. I think I was just optimistic but kind of unrealistic. So I was the kind of guy that assumed that I could go anywhere in just a few minutes.
Yeah, I was the exact opposite of my buddy Carl here. I was more like this gift. I started working on my college graduation plan in 7th grade. So yeah, needless to say that I was pretty focused and unnecessarily intense during my freshman year. All right, so for everyone online, which one of us do you resonate with most? Go ahead and let us know in the chat.
And as you're working on that, why don't we go ahead and give you a quick rundown of what we'll be covering today. So we gathered common questions from freshmen just like you, and we'll try our best to answer them. And to help you remember them, we came up with a mnemonic. R-I-S-E. RISE.
Oh my.
And RISE stands for Restoration, In Lecture, Schedule, and Everyday Tips.
All right, so let's get started with restoration. All right, which refers to health and wellness. And the first question is, will my high school sleep schedule get me through college?
Well, I guess that depends on how much sleep you got during high school.
Yeah, wait, actually, on the count of 3, let's all hold up on our fingers how many hours of sleep we got in high school. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, now!
6?
That's it.
Yeah, in high school I slept for 8 hours a night, but I took a lot of naps, so actually it was the same in college too.
How did that go for you?
Honestly, I think the naps just made me even more tired, so some of the naps even turned into 3 hours.
Oh no, yeah, that sounds about right.
Wait, Angel, you held up 6 fingers. So how did you function without any sleep?
Coffee! No, but actually, in retrospect, I really should have gotten more sleep. I was able to get through most days, but I was just tired all the time. And when I did get 8 hours, I was so much more alert and able to think clearly.
So to answer your question, it depends. You'll feel out of it if you sleep too much, and you won't be able to think very clearly without any sleep. Try to shoot for the 7 to 9 hours a night range.
Next question is about exercise. The gym at my campus is closed due to COVID. What are some other good ways to work out? Up until COVID gym closures, I've never been a fan of at-home workouts. But I eventually found a couple YouTube fitness channels that I really like.
Yeah, and I actually bought a pair of used dumbbells that I've been using.
Wait, you don't really use those.
Okay, I've been using them a few times, all right?
Wait, Angel, what kind of YouTube channels did you watch?
Oh, my go-tos are Chloe Ting, MadFit, Pop Sugar, and a Christian dance group called B3.
Yeah, and if you're not a fan of workout videos, you could also just run outside with friends. I've been running to the park with my roommate a few times a week, and it's really nice to get outside.
All right, next question. I'm a really outgoing person, and I love meeting new people, but it's been really hard because of shelter in place. What are some ways that I can meet new people? Honestly, just join college clubs. Just because SIP has us stuck indoors doesn't mean that there aren't still ways that we can get connected and meet new people. And you never know. Maybe you'll meet new people in your lectures.
Oh yeah, campus clubs are actually how I met most of my friends. And I joined clubs that were not even related to my major and met people that way.
Mm-hmm. When you have class in person, you form a lot of friendships, and it can still be the case for online learning. For extroverts, initiate group chats so that you can coordinate study groups or just hang out. And for introverts,
just say yes to the extroverts' invitations to be in those group chats. Nice.
Next up, we're moving to letter I, in lecture.
All right, guys, college is not like high school. It's more challenging and requires more responsibility than the typical high school workload. It's no sweat as long as you know how to pay attention during lecture. So let's get to it. What do I do about distractions at home? Carl?
I live with 10 other guys, so it doesn't take that much effort for me to get distracted. So for the people who I live with, I let them know beforehand when my class starts so they can know if I have classes.
Yeah, I guess I don't have that many housemates, but I do have two brothers that make it feel that way. So for you guys staying at home, you can even put a sign on your door to let people that you're in a Zoom call or taking a test.
The best way for me to go into hyper-focus is to keep my desk clean and organized. I actually recorded a quick clip to show what my study space at home looks like.
This is my desk. So up top I have my Bible, my notebook, journals, planner, anything that I need to easily access I have up here. That way I'm not getting up constantly and getting distracted. And inside my desk I like to keep things super organized with my work and school computers, my writing utensils, and an army of post-it notes, which you have no doubt noticed up here. So when I am working on a task, by the time I finish, I normally think of about 5 other things that I need to do. Instead of stopping that one task to do those 5, because that would be super inefficient, I write it down and I put it up. So on the left, I have things that I need to get done for school, and it's pretty crazy right now. And then personal things like text messages, bills, emails. And then I'll put the one thing that I'm working on in the middle. So yeah, that's my study space, and I hope that helps you.
Hey, that looks pretty organized. I could get a lot of work done like that.
All right, next question. I heard that college lectures are a lot faster than high school lectures. How do I keep up with my professor? So there are some tips if you have a live lecture. Check whether the slides are put up beforehand so you can focus on what the teacher actually says and then take notes on the slides later beforehand. Another thing is that since it will be online, you will probably have tech issues. So just make sure to log on 5 minutes before just to prep for that. And if it's recorded, just note timestamps of things that you know your professor is saying, and then you can go back to those later.
Great tip, Jonah.
Yeah, and the next question is, I live in a different country, so most of my lectures will be recorded. Are they any different from live lectures? So if you have recorded lectures, watch them right away. Don't wait until you have to spend an entire day, watching 5 lectures back to back. With recorded lectures, it's also helpful because you can change speed, but don't overdo it. You're not going to retain anything your professor says.
So then, how do you guys take lecture notes?
Ooh, for note taking, I prefer to type everything out and put it in Google Drive. So here is a quick run through of how my note taking progressed throughout my freshman year.
Okay, welcome to my Google Drive. So this is the folder where I have all of the past UC Davis courses I took. My first quarter freshman year, I took NAS 1 or Native American Studies. And as you can see, at least I titled all the documents by the date, but everything is unorganized and pretty difficult to find. If I'm looking for lecture notes, if I'm looking for the study guide and other assignments. So that is a non-example of organized Google Drive notes. By my spring quarter, I figured it out how I liked it. So I organized everything from discussion notes, exams, homework, and lecture notes. And within each folder, I started the title with the name of the class, what it is, and what number it is. That way it pops up in chronological order and super easy to find. Alternatively, you could organize the folders by what exam it falls under if you are really learning by the test. Otherwise, this is what worked for me. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, my notes are kind of like the first ones.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, for me, I usually take notes by hand. Most STEM people will have to because there's some funky formulas or shape diagrams that you're gonna have to draw to understand certain concepts. So I just made sure to write dates, lecture topics, and later on I put tabs on my notes so that I can easily find information. Hi everyone, so this is a sample of notes that I took today actually. This is my title, and then I indicate subtitles by adding highlights to them. This is my picture, which I drew so that I could remember things faster, and it's easier to look at. And then I also have bullet points, Roman numerals, numbers, just to be able to list things out in different ways. Then here I have an invisible border that halves my paper so that I have more functionality to the entire paper. And then here I have tabs on my notebook so that I could easily locate different topics. And I use Post-it notes to do that. And then I also have here a box on an important equation so it's easier to locate on my notes. But yeah, those are some note-taking tips I have for you guys.
Okay guys, that was a lot of us talking. I think we, and definitely you, need a break from hearing our voices. So we're gonna hear some stories from our peers about some of their college fails.
Hi, my name is Melissa. So one time during my freshman year, it was the first day of classes, and I was looking for this one classroom, 300 and something in this one building, and then it was probably like 20 minutes had passed and I still haven't found this classroom, and finally I decide to ask for help, and then the woman tells me, oh, that classroom number doesn't exist in this building. So I was really confused, and then I looked at my schedule and saw that I was in the wrong building. So then I biked as fast as I could to that class, and I was like 30 minutes late, and then I ended up dropping the class. So it was okay.
Alright, so freshman year, I signed up for what was supposed to be research experience, which ended up entailing me waking up at 4 a.m. and biking 4 miles to go feed cows and pick up their poop. One day, it was super dark, and I was biking there and I completely didn't see it, so I biked into a tree that had fallen, and I flipped over and I completely ate dirt, and so I just lay there in the wet mud pondering my life for 10 minutes.
Hi, my name is Carol and I'm a senior, and so junior year my housemate and I were biking to class and my bike was making weird sounds in the front. So smart me, I decided to kick the wheel as I'm biking, and my foot gets stuck in the wheel and I flip 180 degrees and I land right in my face, and so I'm on the floor in pain, and my housemate comes and is like, ah, and I'm like, go, 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 because I was so embarrassed because there were people around. And so my housemate ends up helping me up, and I bike myself to the hospital, and I find out that my foot was fractured.
Wow. Oh my gosh, some of those stories were almost unbelievable.
Seriously.
Kind of like your midterm story,
Oh,
Martina.
okay.
What happened?
So my freshman year, this was my first midterm ever. I didn't write it because I didn't look in the syllabus and write in my calendar. So I wasn't even gonna go to lecture this day. Good thing I did, because once I got there, they were passing out papers. Yeah, and so I figured out that, oh my gosh, we're taking a midterm. I didn't really worry much, but I should have, because I didn't do so hot. Later on I pulled it up, but yeah.
Yeah, and so with that, we're gonna go into S in RISE, which is scheduling. The first question, I don't like following a schedule. Do I really need one? Martina?
Yeah, guys, learn from my non-example. Keep a schedule.
Yeah, you can use different apps to plan out your schedule, such as the Reminders app on the iPhone or the Google Calendar. I know many of my friends use Google Sheets, Passion Planner, and bullet journaling, so maybe you can personalize your things in that way too.
Yeah, I found Google Calendaring a bit overwhelming, but I'm with Carl on the Reminders app.
Hey guys, so this is my Reminders app. As you can see, I have it set up by class. So I have history, bio, math, English, and yeah, if we go into my math, you can see I have it all set up by week. Yeah, and this is helpful for me because as the quarter goes on, or as the semester goes on, I can delete whichever week I complete, and so I have a better sense of completion for what I've done. And if we open them up, you see I have week 8, I have a discussion prompt, and I have a peer response. And if we go down to finals week, I have my final paper due, and I have my final due. And yeah, this app really helps me stay on schedule for school in general, and I found it really helpful. So.
Yes, all things schedule and organization makes me happy. So I recorded a quick clip of what my handwritten calendar looks like.
Okay, so this is my handwritten passion planner. I color coordinate things for work, for personal things and appointments, for ministry, and times to connect with God. It's basically Google Calendar, but I just like to write it out because I'm old and it helps me to retain it better.
Oh my, I don't think I would ever do that. It's too much.
Next up, we have E for everyday tips. And the first question is, I heard college is expensive. What can I do to survive?
Yeah, true. A lot of classes do require a lot of expensive textbooks. So one way you can try to save money is by trying to avoid the bookstore as much as possible, right? If your class requires a workbook, however, that's usually an unavoidable bookstore buy. But most of the time, there are plenty of websites where you can rent, not purchase, textbooks for affordable prices.
Yeah, sites like Chegg and Amazon are great for renting. I almost use those exclusively.
But hold off on the textbook right away because there's a chance that your professor might not even ask you for the textbook. But if your professor does, I would suggest that you would talk to an older person and ask them if they have the books that you need.
Yeah, and food is also a big expense in college if you eat out a lot. Meal costs can add up really quickly, so you can save a lot of money by cooking your own meals.
Yeah, in college, you can easily spend a lot of money just by eating out and not even notice. So be mindful of how much you eat out.
So if you want to avoid setting your wallet on fire, one thing you can do is apply for food stamps. Most college students apply, and they are really helpful because they encourage you to eat in. And you don't have to spend as much money doing it. I got $200 a month, which was a huge help for me as I was trying to pay for tuition, and it saved me a lot of money.
So next question for everyday tips is, I heard college is way harder than high school. What do I do if a class is way too difficult?
Classes always have a specific time frame in which you're allowed to drop it. Just make sure you're paying attention to those due dates because if you do it outside of that, then there's probably going to be a penalty.
And if you are really committed to excelling in class, professors almost always have tons of office hours to go over material that you find challenging. Usually the people that don't do well in class are the ones who never took advantage of office hours, and the ones who excel are the ones who frequently attend office hours to ask questions.
Yeah, I should have done that a bit more, but I'm graduated now, so it doesn't matter.
True, and it's okay, because now the freshmen are better equipped because we learned the hard way.
Yep, that wraps up our question and answer portion. Now before we end, since we are at this retreat, we also wanted to share a few words about what helped us grow in our faith during college. Because the truth is, college is hard. Life is hard, and it's really important to have people who can hold you up. Life isn't meant to be done alone, and I wish I'd taken this advice earlier. They say that college is the last time that most people are able to make friends. So take the opportunity to forge some lifelong relationships while you can.
Definitely prioritizing your relationship with God. Super important. It was definitely difficult to balance school and faith at first, but the biggest thing that helped me was setting non-negotiables in my spiritual life. And when I say non-negotiables, I mean that I committed to making spiritual disciplines mandatory, regardless of how busy I was or if things popped up in my schedule. Some of those things included attending church service on Sunday, Bible studies on Friday, and prayer meeting on Wednesdays. And over time, I set more and more non-negotiables in my spiritual disciplines to prioritize my relationship with God and with others.
Wow. Yeah, for me, college is where I really started to take my faith seriously. I moved in with a bunch of other UC Davis guys that went to my church, and just through doing life together those last 2 years of college were some of the best times of my life. College and life anxieties didn't seem so big when I had other Christians lifting me up and reminding me what's important.
For me, even after I made my salvation decision in my freshman year, I still had many questions about Christianity, so I spent a lot of time reading apologetic books. To my surprise, a lot of my questions were answered by the various Christian books that I read, so I also encourage you to pick up a book or ask your spiritual mentors for recommendations. You never know how much your faith can grow when you wrestle with the deeper questions of life.
Well, that's all we have for you guys. Thanks for coming to our Freshman College Hacks Workshop, and yeah, hope it helped. Bye.
See you guys!
Bye.
No.